Hello everybody and welcome back to Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. We are now in the trial. March 22nd, 9:47 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 3. Adrian did it? That's what it looks like. Dude, no way. That woman couldn't do anything like that. In court today, there will be a mountain of evidence that will implicate you. A mountain of evidence? I'm certain there is someone out there trying very hard to pin this whole thing on you. Please, Mr. Lawyer, dude, like I said yesterday, I'm refreshing like spring breeze. Alright? I can't let any sort of scandal ruin that. I understand. Well, it's almost time. Oh, it's Mia. Mia! Let's get a complete acquittal today. I know. I can't focus on my situation right now. Pearls either. No matter what, I have to focus on winning this case by the end of the day. Indeed. Well, let's get going. It's him. This is Wright. Good morning. This is it, Mr. Attorney. The day of the trial. Maya, she's unharmed, right? Well, when I checked on her earlier this morning, she seemed a bit, how shall we say, tired. But don't worry, people don't die that easily. Besides, what you really should be concentrating on is winning today's trial. For my sake as well as yours, you must win today's trial. Which is why I sent you a little present this morning. Present? What in the world would you want to give me? You'll figure it out once the trial starts. And even if you don't like my gift, I expect you to graciously accept it and win the day's contest, if you please. Wait! The kidnapper sent me a present? Mr. Lawyer, dude, who was that? No one. That has nothing to do with you, so forget you heard anything. Dude, did your nose just get longer? March 22nd, 10 a.m. District Court, courtroom number 3. The prosecution's missing. Is that the present? The prosecution is missing? Court is now in session for the trial of Matt on guard. Are the prosecution and defense ready? Defense is ready, Your Honor. I say, Mr. Wright, what happened to Miss Von Karma? I don't know, Your Honor. Why are you getting mad at me? Your Honor, please be quiet, bailiff. Court is in session. If you must tell me something, please keep it brief. Now then, what is it? Prosecutor Von Karma is... This morning, Miss Von Karma was shot by an unknown gunman. What? Shot? Somehow... This is the present the man was talking about. His present. Miss Von Karma is one of the top prosecutors in the country at the moment. If she were to disappear, it would be to your advantage. This is totally insane. Miss Von Karma, is she alright? I don't have that answer. She's alive in a stable condition. That's good. Phew. Yo! I thought he'd show up. Your Honor, due to the circumstances, Miss Francisca Von Karma cannot appear in court today. I, Miles Edgeworth, will be taking her place. The prosecution is ready, naturally. Just like old times, Edgeworth! Miss Von Karma was shot in her right shoulder and is currently undergoing surgery. Luckily, I have looked this case over and am familiar with the details. The prosecution seeks to prove the guilt of Mr. Matt on guard. The court acknowledges the prosecution. Right. I finally found the answer I was struggling for on my long journey this past year. By the time this case comes to a close, you too will know the answer. Now then, the prosecution would like to call its first witness. Please bring Detective Gumshoe to the witness stand. Witness, your name and occupation. My name's Dick Gumshoe, sir. I'm a detective down at the precinct. For now. For now? After this trial's over, I'm supposed to turn in my badge, sir. Detective Gumshoe? The prosecution has no need for a depressed witness. Lift your head up and face forward like a proud officer, Detective Gumshoe. Yes, sir. Now, let's have your testimony. If we want to explore the various facets of this case, we must start with that. Get ready, Phoenix. This is gonna be one very rough fight. Yeah, it would have to be with Edgeworth as my opponent. The answer he was struggling for. Interesting. Show me this answer you finally found, Edgeworth. This murder happened after the Hero of Heroes award ceremony, sir. The victim, Juan Corrida, was found dead in his hotel room. After looking into the cause of death, we believe he was definitely murdered, sir. At first, we thought there was some suspicions about the empty guitar case. However, we found later that the guitar case had nothing to do with the murder. After the award ceremony ended, the victim was alone in his room? Yes, sir. Both the victim and the defendant went alone to the room, sir. I see. Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. Alright. Talk to me. Would you please give us a brief timeline of what happened after the ceremony? Okay, pal. Ceremony started at 6 p.m., ended around 8 p.m., and then there was a short break. The special post-ceremony show was supposed to start in the lobby 30 minutes later. And that's when the victim's body was found, correct? Which is to say the murder occurred during that 30-minute break period. Please continue with your testimony, detective. Okay. Talk to me. The person who discovered the victim's body was Adrian Andrews, correct? Yeah. Who is this Adrian Andrews you're talking about? She's the defendant, Matt on God's manager. She's a real pretty lady, sir. Ah, so she's a pretty lady. I wonder if she will grace us with her presence. When the post-ceremony show was about to start, she went to get Mr. On God. Out of his room, she went to the victim's room to get him next for the show, sir. I see, and that's when she found the victim's body. The cause of death. Wasn't it because Mr. Corrida was stabbed in the chest? Only a careless amateur believes something so brainless as that, pal. Take a look. Take a good hard look at the crime photo. Now, real pro's attention will be drawn here to this bandana. Banana? His bandana, sir. That's the thing wrapped tightly around his neck, sir. Ah, yes. I see it is a banana-scented bandana. Then what about the knife? Seems to have been stuck in the victim's chest on purpose after his death. We have a crafty murderer on our hands here. Alright, autopsy report. And why do you think that? Because it was empty, pal. Jammin' Ninja doesn't go anywhere without his bright red guitar, and we couldn't find it anywhere to see in the crime. Oh, then how about this theory? A fan really wanted the guitar and did the crime to get it. How's that? We thought of that too, but the only fingerprints on the guitar were the victims. Only the victims, huh? I see. So much of my theory, then. Okay. What convinced you that it had nothing to do with the case? The guitar wasn't at the Gatewater Hotel that night. Well then, where was it? The bright red guitar was eventually found at the TV studio. The victim, Juan Corrida, had apparently only taken the case with him, sir. So you mean he forgot to put the guitar inside the case? Yes, sir. Even when he was out on stage for the ceremony, he didn't have his guitar. So that guitar case was empty before he even got to the hotel. Yeah, that's right. So it had nothing to do with the case after all. I believe that is enough. First, the victim was choked to death with his bandana. And then, after the victim was dead, the killer deliberately stabbed him with a knife. Which brings me to my next point. Why then did the police arrest Matt on guard? Because there was reason enough to suspect him. Here it comes. Looks like Edgeworth's back in full swing. Very well. Detective Gumshoe, please testify about this matter. Yes, sir. Matt on guard and Juan Corrida were huge rivals with each other. They thought the other guy was in his way. That's motive enough in my book. As for evidence, there's the Jammin' Ninja's button. It was ripped off in the night of the concert found in Mr. On Guard's accomplice. The defendant's fingerprints are also all over the knife. The defendant bought the knife for the crime, which makes it premeditated murder. So the defendant's fingerprints were found on the knife used in the stabbing. It was sort of sticky on the handle, so the fingerprints came out pretty clearly, sir. And there's this button. That was found in the defendant's clothes, was it? And is this button also covered in blood? Yes, we know that the blood on it is the victim's blood, sir. What? Ripped from the costume, covered in Corrida's blood. All of this points very clearly to the defendant, doesn't it? Yes, it most certainly does, Your Honor. Ready to give in yet, Wright? I'll find a hole in your argument somehow. You can press as hard as you like. Just hurry up with your usual pointless questions. Alright. Talk to me. But in the turn's popularity, Mr. On Guard won, did he not? Yeah. But you know what's ironic, pal? Paul Corrida was always one step behind Mr. On Guard in everything. This year it seemed like he'd finally caught up, ready for the big final showdown. But Mr. Corrida lost the Grand Prix in the end. That is too bad. He must have been pretty downhearted after losing. Wait just 1 second here. Mr. On Guard was beating Mr. Corrida in the popularity polls. Well, yeah, I guess, but... Which means that in the defendant's eyes, the victim was not a rival at all. Which means he had no motive to kill at all. Yes, I quite agree. Well, detective? It's not... Well, I guess you put it that way, then yeah, the defendant would have had no motive. Detective, I'm beginning to see why you were fired. Not you too, Mr. Edgeworth, sir. That's... I look forward to your pension negotiations. No. Now, detective, let's continue with the testimony. My poor pension, too. Detective, if you value your money, I suggest you proceed. Yes, sir. We can talk about my pension later, sir. What about what I was saying? Hello? Anyone? You have any proof that the button belonged to the victim? Huh? What do you mean, pal? Let me put it this way. I'm asking if you have any evidence to back up your claim that this button was ripped off of Jamina's costume. But can't show just by looking at it? And the victim's blood is on it? Anyone could have smeared that blood on there afterward. Mr. Edgeworth, help me, sir. Alright, I knew it. It had to be this piece of evidence. Now to reel this one in. Thread. Huh? The button was attached to the costume by thread, obviously. And that thread snapped when the button was torn off. If you match up the ends of the thread on the costume with the thread on the button, it's a perfect match. Yeah, that's it. They're a perfect match, pal. That's Edgeworth for you. Never misses a beat. When was this button found? Pretty soon after the body was found, we rounded up everyone who knew Mr. Corrida. And then we did a search on them all, and that's when we found the button. Sorry, yawning. So, it was almost immediately after the murder. The police didn't have time to lollygag and play tricks unlike some people. What's he trying to say about me here? How were the fingerprints arranged on the knife? What do you mean, pal? By examining the fingerprints, you can determine how the defendant held the knife. For example, do you hold it normally, or overhand? Oh, is that what you meant? Well, we actually didn't think of that. I can't believe the bumbling of this department. Hopeless. Were you paying attention to the testimony, Wright? The defendant's fingerprints were all over the knife. There's no way to determine how the knife was held at the moment of the murder. So is the defendant the owner of this knife, then? There is no way this was a premeditated murder, even if he bought the knife. Sorry, pal. This isn't some pocket knife. It done full, so it's not great for walking around with either. Well, it's not good. The prosecution can prove it was a premeditated murder. We're done for. Phoenix? Yes? There's something very interesting about what the detective said just now. Think carefully before it's too late. A button covered in the victim's blood and a knife with on-guard's fingerprints. Be grateful. If the judge were more rash, he probably would have pounded the gavel in closing. We're still in a world of trouble. Well, before any battle, you must find your enemy's weakness. So let's find the weakness in his testimony, no matter how small it may be. Okay, Phoenix? Okay, so there's definitely something. But, you know, this knife looks very similar to the knives that you... Yeah, Gatewater is engraved. Yeah, this knife looks very similar to the ones that were on the dinner plate. Objection! Oh, I was correct. Nice. Wait a second. What? So the basis of your argument is that this was a premeditated murder. Is simply that my client bought a knife beforehand. That's right, pal. The defendant did not buy this knife. Huh? Take a good look at the handle of this knife, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Huh? It has a Gatewater seal set into the handle. Gatewater? I think I've heard that name somewhere before. That's the name of the hotel, the Gatewater Hotel. Uh-oh. The murder knife was actually property of the hotel, which means this murder was not premeditated. Yes, that is very true. This is a very big... What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? I'm sorry, but the defense is simply too careless. What? I think whether the crime was premeditated or not has already been determined. How so? I admit, this knife is hotel property. There is no one currently in the police force that is dumb enough not to realize this. But I didn't. Oh. The question is, where did this knife come from? Why, that's obvious. It came from the victim Mrs. Corrida's room. Sorry, Your Honor, but that is incorrect. The victim ate a last meal before he was murdered, and with that being the case, I would like to draw the court's attention to what is on top of the table. There was a knife and a fork on the table. Then, where in the world did this knife come from? If it pleases the court, I would like for us to recall the room of the defendant, Mr. Matt, on guard. Especially what is on top of his table. There is something missing. Perhaps it is a single knife. We investigated the leftover dishes for fingerprints, and while we were investigating, we came to the conclusion that Mr. Matt Onguard's knife was missing. Mr. Onguard had gone to the victim's room with the knife he had used during dinner. Why would he carry a knife to visit? To kill, of course. And with that, I believe the prosecution has proven this was a premeditated murder. Amazing, Mr. Edgeworth. Absolutely brilliant. A brilliantly clear deduction. Seems like Edgeworth had planned this from the very beginning. This must be one of those traps, and I just walked headlong into it. A murder weapon with fingerprints and a bundle of the victim's costume. There is quite a sizable amount of evidence here. I can safely say that any further deliberation is a waste of Your Honor's time. Although, I wouldn't mind if the defense were to present evidence not yet shown to the court. Evidence not yet shown? He means evidence that the court hasn't seen yet. In other words, new evidence. What does the defense have to say about this, Mr. Wright? Well, Phoenix, the judge is favoring the prosecution right now. If we answer with something wrong here, gavel will be ringing out the sound of our defeat. Mr. Wright, you have something important and necessary to present to this court? You know what? I don't. Nuh-uh. This has to be another trap. And if I don't say anything, it risks throwing out a bad piece of evidence. Looks like the defense isn't saying a peep on this one. Which means this court is adjourned. Phoenix, we will lose this case if we give up here. You better show the judge something quick. Okay, slow down. We all know I have a tendency to be more wrong. To be wrong more than... I can't even say it. There's one piece of evidence that catches my attention. Something this court has yet to see. Mr. Wright, I will say this one more time. I do not feel this trial needs to continue at all. However, I'm giving you one chance and only one. What the judge is saying, right, is don't try pulling one of your usual bluffs here. If I mess this up, it's curtains for all of us. Oh my gosh, it is curtains! Now then, what is this important piece of evidence that you must show to the court? Oh my gosh. I think it's this. Because, okay, let's go. No. That's not gonna be useful yet. No, not quite. No, we're not on Impact or Adrian yet. It's gotta be this. This is a wine glass, is it not? Please look at the photo of the crime scene one more time. It's seen as a mess because of the victim's struggle against his assailant. The vase is broken, his makeup is all over the floor. There were all these things that were at one point sitting on top of the dresser. Well, yes, I see your point. However, this glass that is sitting on top of the dresser is mysteriously untouched. The only thing that had not fallen over with everything else is this wine glass. This piece of evidence is more than strange enough to warrant a further consideration. Oh, what do you have to say? Well, yes, it is a little peculiar. Yes, isn't it? I thought it was. You can stop looking at me with those puppy dog eyes of yours now, Mr. Edgeworth. What is it, Your Honor? Your opinion? You don't need my opinion, because there is no special meaning to that glass. What? It's safe to say that the glass was set there after the crime took place, by the person who discovered the body, Adrian Andrews, for example. She could have easily been so shocked that she set the glass down without thinking. That does sound very plausible, Mr. Wright. Could Miss Andrews really have set that glass down without thinking? Possible. Let me see. It's filled with tomato juice. Does Miss Andrews like tomato juice? I don't even know. I wish I knew that. Can we get, like, a thing on her hates tomato juice or something? Nah. By a pure week the trial is over. I can look for my proof later. For now, I should trust my instinct and point with certainty. Just might fall for it if you're thought-provoking enough. The defense would like to challenge the prosecution's theory. We would like to see something that proves that it was Miss Andrews who set the cup on the table. You've turned the situation on its head yet again, as usual. Mr. Edgeworth, do you have any proof to back up your claim? There's no way he has any. He's just bluffing. Unlike Mr. Wright, I never say anything unless I have the evidence to support it. What? Oh, classic Edgeworth. You're not thinking hard enough today, right? Did you think this wine glass escaped my notice? Then, of course, it has been thoroughly inspected for fingerprints. Fingerprints. There were only one set of fingerprints left on this wine glass. Only one? Well, whose were they? They were not the victims nor the defendants. Rather, they were one of Adrian Andrews. What? That is why I said the person who had discovered the body had left it there. Are we done here, Mr. Wright? I can't believe I found another trap. Miss Andrews was probably holding the glass when she went to see Mr. Corita. Upon seeing his dead body, she was stunned and set the glass down on the dresser. What you just said makes a lot of sense. Now, do you see, Wright? You can't change any part of my scenario as it explains everything all too well. I've thought long and hard this past year about what it means to be prosecuted. From here on out, I will show you the answer I've come to discover. Wait a second, Mr. Edgeworth. I think the prosecution provided enough evidence for me to enter my verdict. Unfortunately, I cannot allow you to pass judgment yet. The prosecution has yet another witness the court would like to hear from. Another witness? Yes. Bailiff, please bring in the next witness. What in the world is Mr. Edgeworth thinking? Now then, witness, please state your name and occupation. Witness, name, and occupation. Gotcha! I wonder what happened to calm composure he had earlier. Oh! Edgy boy, it's been what, a year since we last met, hasn't it? You should be more happy to see me. I saw the report with her testimony, but who knew that under that helmet was the Wicked Witch of the witness stand? I'll tell you, this time I know what I'm supposed to do, so today I'm going to tell you anything and everything, even things that don't have to do with that terrible crime. Miss Witness, the terrible crime is all the court needs to know. Gosh, I'm talking to my dear Edgy Wedgie right now. Don't interrupt us, Gramps. Yes, madam. Oh no, please. By all means, interrupt her, please. Anyway, witness, your testimony, please. It's true what they say, that youth are hot-headed nowadays. Not that I mind at all, Edgy. Now then, what should I start with? The witness was on security detail at the hotel on the night of the murder. Is this correct, Miss Oldbag? It was a great job being able to see my dearie Juan. It was almost too much for my little heart to handle. You mean you were a fan of the victim? Look, everyone is crazy over that on guard, saying he's cute in a fresh way or something. But not me. I wouldn't say anything so silly. After all, I have no interest in a little child like him. I'm only interested in a real man, Juan Corrida. But those two are the same age. Anyway, as I was saying, I was pacing in front of his room that night. Very well. Please tell the court what you witnessed the night of the murder. Leave it to me, Eddie Pooh. Oh my gosh. I'm never gonna get a career in politics for this video. Anyway, after the ceremony, I went to pace around the hallway in front of his room. There was something I was interested in finding out, you know. Well, since I was on the job, I made sure to keep a good eye on the whole time. That's when someone showed up. It was a man coming out of poor Juan's room. It was on guard, Matt on guard, trying to sneak his way out of Juan's room. So Mr. On Guard came out from the victim's room. See, it has to be him. He's the murderer. I see. Well, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. Save me game. Miss Oldbag, what was your post on that night? The lobby. I was supposed to help set up the stage for that trifling show, but I refused to help, I'll have you know. It was for that lead-headed samurai show. Even I took out a few of the nails. Maybe it was a good thing the show didn't go on. Besides, that manager with the glasses seemed to be working harder without me, so I thought I'd take a break and spread my wings a little. And that's when you went to hang around the victim's door. Something you were interested in. And what was that? It's not some little thing I could just go around telling everyone you know. It's top secret between me and Juan. Oh, and Edgy Pooh, of course. Mr. Edgeworth, what is this thing she was interested in? I have no idea. I despise gossip, Your Honor. Gossip? But it should prove relevant. We can always have it appended to her testimony later. It looks like we should enforce it right now. And did the witness stay in the vicinity of the victim's door the entire time? Oh? Then would you tell us the number of people who went in and out of Mr. Corita's room? I have no idea. I wasn't born so I could count things for those who didn't pay attention in class. That's why, ever since I turned 20, I quit keeping track of how old I really am. Yes, that would explain why your age is not included in the report. In any case, the witness then saw someone, correct? Who in the world was that? I'm not allowed to say. It's the sort of information that's been carefully guarded from the masses, Sonny. The man that came out of Juan's room, yes, he was. I'm too scared. I can't say his name out loud. Oh, what I wouldn't give to have Francisca's whip right now. Well, I guess I can tell you, since he was such a bad boy anyway. You saw my client. You sure about that? Yesy. Really? Annoying brat. When I saw that person. Why do I get a sense of deja vu? Maybe to avoid a repeat of last year. Should delve into this a little bit further. What was the man you saw carrying? In which hand? His right or left? Now this is a real mess. I mean, I can't be expected to answer such a vague question. Indeed. Please be more specific with your question, Mr. Wright. Sorry. What was the man you saw carrying in his right hand? He wasn't carrying anything in that hand. Then how about his left? Empty. Well, it's only been a lot of nothing. So, Mr. Wright, what was his testimony just now, important or relevant in any way? My goodness gracious. Oh, it's important. Of course it was important, Your Honor. Then perhaps you would like to point out what part of that testimony was important? You don't really have to put it that way to get me to say. Mr. Wright, there's something much more valuable than a person's pride, and that is time. Please don't waste this court's precious time with your worthless questions. Yes, Your Honor. He's wasted his good favor. She may not remember things, she may be mistaken here and there, but I don't think she's lying. It's bad for us. Really bad. That's how the human mind is. It also has a tendency to jump off topic. She's strayed into a few interesting side topics this time too, hasn't she? That's what makes her a sweet old lady, right? Because you're not the one who has to question her. Miss Oldbag, what was your post on that night? Oh, the lobby. She said she was talking about gossip. Please tell the court about the man's clothes in more detail. What a troublesome man you are. Really, as if something like that matters. But it does. Oh, now was it? Oh yes, it was that thing. What thing? That gaudy thing he's always wearing, that racing jacket. I was wearing that at a consider too. That thing's meant for nothing but seducing women out of their pantaloons. Men. Right. So, Mr. Wright? Yeah, very important.
Objection!
Oh, that was a new dialogue. Hold on. Oh! It's a new thing. Wait a minute. Hold on. Let's go back. We got it. Guys, I figured it out. The whole case. It was Oldbag, she did it. Oh, you gotta be joking. Okay, so I can't go back to that dialogue. That's fine. That's okay. I do know what to press now. This.
Objection!
Miss Oldbag? What? Don't say my name for no reason. Do you know what this is? Ah, it's button number 2 on the Jammin' Ninja's costume. Now I know she's obsessed and she identified in a single glance. Give it here, give it here. If you don't give it to me, I'll punish you with this. Wow, she really is a diehard fan who wants a button covered in blood. This button was discovered on Mr. On-Guard's body during a full-body search. See? This button proves beyond the shadow of a doubt it was that rascal on guard. It was caught up in the pleats of his nickel samurai hakama pants. See? And on guard is the nickel samurai. Witness? Now it may just be me, and I do have an active imagination, but just now, didn't you say the defendant, man on guard, was wearing his usual racing jacket? I'm so sorry. Sorry that you judge people based on what they wear. If I wore the trendiest dress, then maybe you think... It's heavy. Oh my gosh. Oh my... Now hold your tongue still for just 1 second. So what you saw in actuality was not Mr. On Guard, the man, but Mr. On Guard, the nickel samurai. But when you think about it, they're really one and the same anyway. Miss Oldbag, this is a very important point we're talking about. Edgy Poo, don't you think so too? Well, it might be something worth considering. Just say it's important and agree with me for a change. Witness, think carefully, try to remember as much as you can before you testify. All right, if you insist. I should be the one sighing, not you. On guard. Yes, now I remember. The nickel samurai, that's right. It was a nickel samurai I saw. Yes, it would have been convenient for him to wear his costume during the murder. He had to go on that post-ceremony show right after the crime, you know. So he must have worn that nickel samurai costume when he was stabbing poor Juan. I knew it. I knew you'd say it was inside that costume. What? Did you think that someone else could have been inside that costume? Don't be a bad little boy, thinking such rude things. But the possibility does exist. Hi, youngins, today I told you there's no way it was anyone else. How do you know that? Because I said so, and what I say is the truth. At least he's just as delightful a witness as she was a year ago. Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Oh my goodness gracious. Would you please get on with your testimony? Your language, young man. What sort of tone is that to take with an elder? My youthfulness isn't what it used to be, so you should forgive me for everything. If you keep on barking at me like that, I'll start singing at the top of my lungs. What? A striking figure by the sea, standing all alone is he. He's the nickel samurai. He's actually singing. Someone help my poor ears. Mr. Edgeworth, can you please do something about this racket? Witness, I'll give you a piece of gum later if you'll just be good and stick to just the facts. Okay, you promise, right? Right. I'll be sending the bill for the chewing gum to your office at a later date. Remind me to send you a thank you note later too, Edgeworth, old chum. Be a little more careful with your testimony, please. Not too long ago, you said he was wearing his racing jacket, and now he's not. Not too long ago? Then let me ask you this. When you were itty-bitty, what was your grand dream? Huh? What did you want to grow up? What did you want to be when you grow up, whippersnapper? My dream, huh? Well, I, want to be a Judge Wagner, hero of the public's court. So what? See? And look at where you are now. You're not Judge Wagner, are you? Well, what I said earlier. Who puts any weight into things like that? The now is everything. I can't be held responsible for the past. Since when did this court ever become theatrics over testimonies? All that matters is that this man was inside that costume. Is that enough? Oh, I got an achievement. And why would that be? That way no one could see his face, of course. There's still no advantage for him. But there's still no advantage for him that I can see. In fact, you would think the costume would make him stand out all the more. You are such an annoying child, you know that? You disagree with everything I say. Isn't that what you're doing to me? I got it. Maybe it was more troublesome for him to change in and out of his costume. Was there anyone else scheduled to appear at the post-ceremony show? Well, all the contestants were supposed to go on the stage in a friendly gesture thing. And that included the Gemma Ninja. Of course it included him. That's why On Guard came out of dear Juan's room. I didn't give it a second thought. I see. Well, anyway. So let me ask you one last time. The person you saw really was the Nickel Samurai. As showy as ever. Haven't I been saying that from the very beginning? Have I thrown the towel yet? Don't need to think too hard on this one. Huh? There's a contradiction in her testimony and it's sitting in plain sight. The question is, what the contradiction means for us. I'll have to figure out what you're talking about first, but okay. A guard. The Nickel Samurai is what he saw. Okay, what do I have? Anything? No, that's not going to be useful yet. You must have been wearing that costume. I don't see anything. Apparently Mia sees something I don't. Right after the crime. So it would have been convenient for him to wear his costume during the murder. Really? Somehow I doubt that. I mean, if anything, I think it'd be annoying. I actually don't see anything. Well, I guess we'll just go through what I think it could be. Strangled with a scarf. I'm just theorizing at this point. How did Mia see something I clearly don't? Would have been convenient for him. Dude, I'm so. I don't have anything. He must have worn it. What do you mean? He must have worn it. Bruh. I'm just. Can we just go through every piece of evidence? You don't need to think too hard on this one. That's really funny. You don't need to think too hard on this one. Shut up, Mia. I am thinking too hard on this one. So he must have worn it. Why? I don't have anything that shows this. Oh my goodness. Oh, that worked. I have no idea how, but explain your reasoning, Phoenix. Please take a look at this. Yeah, so it's a knife. Big deal. If you're trying to scam me with that, I'll have you know it won't work. No, that's not my intention at all. That's the knife that was used in the murder, correct? Your Honor, do you know why this piece of evidence is important to this case? You don't even have to ask, because the defendant's fingerprints are on it. Is that what you're driving at? That is exactly what I'm driving at. What are we driving at? And whose car are we driving? If Mr. Rongard was really in the Nickel Samurai costume at the time of the murder, then it's impossible for his fingerprints to have been left on this knife. Oh. Okay, that makes sense. Actually, he would have wiped all previous fingerprints of the knife right off. Oh, that's right. The Nickel Samurai wears gloves, does he? He probably took his gloves off before he began the stabbing. And why would he do something like that? To leave his prints on the murder weapon? There is no way he would do something like that. However, there is one possibility. Then let's hear your possibility. It's very simple. The defendant went to the victim's room while in the costume as the Nickel Samurai. At that time, the defendant held no intent to murder. He was probably just go to relax and talk to the victim about the stage show. Which is why he took his gloves off. But the murder still did take place. It's well known that there's bad blood between the defendant and the victim. Yes, I've heard that before. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you have to say about Mr. Edgeworth's theory? So let me get this straight. Edgeworth's theory goes like this. When the defendant went through the room, he had no intention of killing him. And up to this point, there are any problems with it? There is. You said it was a premeditated murder. So now it's not premeditated? This theory contradicts something in an earlier testimony. What are you babbling about? Now, for an argument's sake, let's suppose Mr. On Guard was the killer, if that's the case. I think it's impossible for the killer to have gone to the victim's room without intent. The show evidence? Naturally, you point to the one piece with the least value, but with such vigor. Enjoy your youth while you can. Humans don't live forever, neither do lawyers. You sure like to think you can bluff your way out of this one. Phoenix, pay attention. Let's pretend that Mr. On Guard is the murderer. And from that angle, he didn't have a murderous intent from the very beginning. And that means there is a certain object that shouldn't be at the crime scene, right? A certain thing, a certain thing. How are you doing over there? Busy collecting your thoughts? Alright. One more try, even more spirit. Now, for argument's sake, let's suppose Mr. On Guard was the killer. If that's the case, that intent. Oh no. Missing from the crime scene. This? The guitar case? It's in the crime scene. What was missing from the crime scene? This? Well, that's not gonna prove anything. The knife was already at the scene. See, I thought it was the autopsy report because it was strangle. That was the cause of death was strangling. Maybe the crime photo? It could be the crime photo. But it's an object that was in the thing. Could it be the guitar case? I don't know, man. I mean, I'll back up. Alright, I'm gonna give it one more try. I'm gonna do the crime photo. Okay. Reload. The room without intent. The knife? Oh, it is the knife. This knife. This was used by Mr. On Guard at dinner. Yes, we did establish that. Which means that if my client was in fact the killer, then he brought this knife with him to visit Mr. Corrida. I suppose. However, you just said it yourself. At that time, the defendant held no intent to murder. If that were true, then why would he bring a knife? He wouldn't, would he? Which means, Mr. Edgeworth, your theory is flawed from supposition 1. And one more thing. If the murderer was wearing the costume at the time of the murder, then there should be glove marks left on the knife. Which means the defendant's fingerprints shouldn't be all over it, like bees on a hive. And that brings me to my final point. This knife was planted by the real killer to hide their identity and mislead us. Order, order, I say. Order in the court. Was this knife really planted by the killer? Why would the murderer do such a thing? Well, I figure that's obvious. To frame him. It's to frame my client, Mr. On Guard, of course. To frame? Aren't you forcing the interpretation just one a little hard on this one? We just established that the witness saw the Nickel Samurai in costume, and if that were true, then there shouldn't be a single fingerprint on this knife. Grr. Witness? Looks like I made your life a tiny bit more difficult, huh, Angie Poo? Witness, did you or did you not really see the Nickel Samurai? I guess at first I might have forgotten, but... Are you saying that you mix up Mr. On Guard with the Nickel Samurai's character on TV? I mean, I can't really do anything about that now. Look, I was waiting around in front of the doors for, well... But I wasn't waiting around for the Nickel Samurai, that's for sure. She wasn't waiting around for the Nickel Samurai. Alright then, who were you waiting around for then? That's top secret to anyone outside of security. I have a feeling that you were waiting for Mr. Juan Corrida, am I correct, witness? The way you think, you are a sad amateur with a terrible case of nearsightedness. Amateur? Me? What am I an amateur of? So Oldbag was waiting around in front of the victim's room, but it doesn't look like she's waiting to catch a glimpse of Mr. Corrida. Maybe, Phoenix, maybe Oldbag is waiting around for that person. If it's who I think it is, certainly possible. Miss Oldbag? You were waiting for this person to come out of the room, were you? Who is this person? This is Adrian Andrews, Mr. On Guard's manager. But why would the defendant's manager be in the victim's room? It seems that this is the latest rumor in circulation, Your Honor. Oh, this... Well, this is... Oh, I see. The judge seems to be really into the article, if it can be called such a thing. Then this manager with the initials AA, are you saying it's... Adrian Andrews, without a doubt. The witness thought so as well. Looks like you found me out. Well, that's fine. I can throw away the whole sworn to confidentiality stuff then. Witness? What in the world are you... Watch out, Phoenix. I've got a bad feeling about this. Very bad feeling. I got some information, some very secret information from a certain source. So that's why I was doing my own internal investigation. In secret, of course. But what for? Just for myself, personal reasons and all that. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, how will you proceed from here? I really don't want to do this, however, I cannot simply let this point slide. I see. Very well then, witness, please testify about this secret information. Get ready. This is gonna take the wind out of you youngins. I'm sure we're all capable of handling this. Really, it's not like we're 10 years old. Oh boy. Get ready. Left God is one evil, evil man. He thought he could ruin poor Juan by causing a huge scandal. So to do that, he sent his own manager to get in close with Juan. I cannot condone such dirty tricks, so I took action. Oh, and this is top secret. You got that? But nobody else but you and me know yet, okay? Oh no, that's all fake. The defendant sent his manager. What a distasteful topic for this court. What? Nobody's above gossip. And isn't there a saying, the truth is never pleasant? Never heard that one before. Mr. Edgeworth, what about this Adrian Andrews person? We have looked into this matter, and found that the truth the article proposes this. In fact, we found that the truth this article proposes is, in fact, baseless gossip. But should this be true, then this proves the defendant did bear ill will towards the victim. So this means I have to smash this rumor once and for all. Now then, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Be careful. The old bag seems rather excited right now. That's right! On God is nothing but your average foul-blooded youth. Well, as saying goes, we gotta burn the old bags with fire. Gotta fire up the afterburners and hit the highway to the danger zone. So we're full sending this one, okay. You can't say something like that without proof. That's just slander. It's true, that woman was getting intimate with poor Juan. Look, it says right here, doesn't it? Manager to the stars, Miss A.A. But the name of the magazine is coming from Miss Gossipland. What? Saying that gossip is all just a pack of lies? What do you know? Suppose that you'll swear to me that news is 100% truth. Honestly, son, you can't discriminate between the news and gossip. Yes, discrimination is bad, Mr. Wright. Discrimination when I do anything like that. Anyway, God will never get to me, and he'll never get me to say touché. A scandal? What do you mean by that? You're a dim-witted one, you know. I can't believe you don't know what a scandal is. Honestly, what are they teaching kids in middle school these days? No, I wasn't asking what the word scandal means, even I know that much. Well, that on God thought he could own a monopoly on popularity. You don't have any proof that Mr. Ungard did any such thing. You must be suffering from shock, the shock of hearing the truth. And now since you were so much shocked, you can't do anything, right? You're right, I can't do anything, but boy, I wish I could do something about you. Alright then, Sonny, show me what you got. Can you show me proof that Ungard didn't bear any ill will towards Juan? Did I save? Well, I'm gonna save again then. Cause no. I don't have anything to offer. See, just as I thought, and you were lecturing me for saying things without proof. You just give me a free pass, say whatever I want, silly boy. Me, my big mouth. That's the way the cookie crumbles for you, anyway. Oh, jeez. Calling it a tip of gossip, doesn't it? And doesn't ignore it either. Makes the client look bad either way. Well, I don't think I heard anything out of the ordinary just now. There has to be something we can catch her on. You know, when I find, I'm gonna press the heck out of it. So what do you mean by I took action? Like I already told you, I was lying in wait close to the crime scene. Once a slimy woman came out of Juan's room, I was going to capture her and teach her a good lesson. Something you youngins need. You were going to teach her a good lesson? I was gonna make her eat the damaging beams of my ray gun. Like this. No, stop. Well, it was too bad the woman didn't come through the door that night. Wait. What? I'm a busy woman. Tea time with the kids is over. Secret information that no one knows just yet. If that's true, then how do you know this secret information? Huh? Well, that's because I'm a pro. Yes, that's it. It's a secret! Even if you drill the hole into my brain, you'll never find out. How in the world did that old bag get such a secret piece of information? How in the world did she get it? If you don't be a good girl and tell me where you got the secret apron, you won't get to go home today. Angie, but what you're doing? Help me! What do I have to do with this? Just do this for me, you'll get your reward. I don't want your reward, but you don't leave me much of a choice. The witness could have gotten her information from anywhere. It's even possible that it was spontaneously made up inside the witness's head. And he lectures me about reckless blabbering. As long as we know where this information came from, it's quite a waste of time focusing on this line of questioning. Where did Opec get her inside information? There has to be something to figure out yet. Alright then. I'm not gonna let you push me around that easily. There's many a man who've said those exact words and paid dearly for them. Maybe you should brace yourself this time. Here's my proof that Mr. Ungar did not hold any ill will towards the victim. Any ill will? Dude, I don't know. Okay, nope, nope, nope. Nope, 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 nope. So no one is supposed to know about the secret information, correct? If that's true, then why do you know him, Miss Oldbag? What are you looking at me like that? Witness? Hate to say it, but this is how you come to acquire the secret info, isn't it? Objection! You call that proof? This one like proof of spite towards the witness. If you have nothing to back up your claims, they're no more valid than gossip. Objection sustained. What? Witness, feel free to ignore the defense's gesture of ill will and continue. Oh my gosh. I thought that was it. What does wait and see mean? Should probably think about more of this. Don't do anything rash. For now, maybe I should sit back and watch these play out. So what can I... Evil man... You're close with Juan. Cannot condone such dirty tricks. Oh, not that. Alright, then fine. Are we just pressing? Like, am I not supposed to... This is how you can get to acquire your secret info. I mean, it has to be this. Let me try one thing first. Okay, so no, I have to... Where does she get... How in the world did that such a secret piece of information? It's not from the tabloid, apparently. How in the world does she do it? Because apparently this isn't it. She stole Lotta's camera. Bruh. It worked? No shot. The investigative photographer, Lotta Hart. Oh yes, I remember that mischievous girl. She reported that she had lost a certain note that she had written to herself. She reported such a thing? On that piece of paper, she had written down some of her impressions about the relationship between the victim and Miss Andrews. What? Outrageous ideas, you say? No, I said impressions. Then everything written on this piece of paper is completely meaningless? Ah, that's it, that's the note. Ah. No, you see, this is completely different. Might have secret lists of groceries to buy. Then are you the one who took Miss Hart's note? I'm a huge fan of Juan's, that's why. That infamous puppy-head whippersnapper. She's working with that evil on guard, she said to herself. On guard. Oh God, I'm his sidekick. She was so happy, smiled like a silly duck. I was only checking what she had written. Ichibu, you believe me, don't you? I was only trying to help out like the angel I am. It's only on this little piece of paper. I've never taken anything else before. You really should come up with a supply of cheese to match up your vintage wine. It was only a piece of paper. I suppose you could overlook this just this once. She looks like she's really sorry. Should I forgive her? Pile on more pressure. She deserves it. If I let it on her now, she'll get away. I have to find out some way to inflict a deafening blow to the prosecution. Witness, you said that the only thing you stole was that note. Is that correct? Oh, the camera too! Stole? Don't you listen more carefully, you annoying brat? I saved this piece of paper for that terrible lonely trash can is all. You're lying, and I can prove it. Are you putting my credibility under scrutiny again? Miss Oldbag, I don't believe that the note was the only thing you stole that night. Miss Oldbag, that note was with a camera. Inside its case, wasn't it? A camera? Yesterday, Lotta Hart says Lotta Hart was raising a huge stink over her camera. She kept saying something like, "My sweetie 1600 camera done disappeared on me." Why, witness? What is it, Gramps? If you have the note, then the only logical thing is that you have to have the camera too. Looks like you found me out again, Sonny. Is this the camera you're looking for? Yes, that's... What? Even though I look like this, I'm some person, you know. I still eat meals like you, fall in love, borrow things from people. I think your definition of borrow is a little off. I saw that woman's business card, and when I noticed it, it said slime bag celebrity photographer extraordinaire. When I saw that, I had to know what sort of picture she had taken. A professional security guard is my business to know these things. Bailiff, check this camera's photos. Hurry, we must examine them at once. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, what do we have? There is only one photo that seems to be of relevance in this case. Please present it to the court. This is the Nickel Samurai. See, I told you, that's the guy I saw. This proves that the witness was not lying earlier about this matter. What does this all mean, Mr. Edgeworth? The photo by itself does not prove the defendant isn't... The photo by itself does not prove that the person in it is the defendant, however. In his own confession, Mr. Ungar clearly stated that, at the time of the murder, he was still in the Nickel Samurai costume. If that's the case, then the Nickel Samurai is... the defendant. How did it come to this? I think this brings us to the end. We've examined every piece of evidence thoroughly. Final comments, Mr. Wright? The court will consider them before we close. Do you agree that this photo is decisive evidence against your client? This photo really is decisive. We're done for. If I raise an objection here and blow it, then I put my life in jeopardy. Can't make a mistake here. There's only one road out of this mess. This photo Lotta took. There's something strange with it. There's something strange with this photo. I knew this was coming, right? Your thoughts, Mr. Edgeworth? I think we can all agree that there's nothing strange with this photo. There is no way for the defense to debunk this photo, even with a bunker buster. Debunk with a bunker buster? Is that what you're planning to do, Mr. Wright? Anyway, please look at the photo one more time. If you really believe you can also find something wrong with this photo, then you should only need one chance, correct? Well, find something wrong with this photo and I can't let this chance go by. Where in the heck did you take this photo from anyway? It's all out of focus. Why can't you take a good shot, especially when it counts? Now then, let's hear your objection. What about this photo is strange? Oh my gosh. He's not holding a knife. Is he coming out of the room or is he going into the room? It's this person here? I'm cooked. You mean the Nickel Samurai? What's wrong with that? At the time of the murder, Mr. Ungar was in his own room. Which means that... If you think that is all it takes, then you should reconsider your chance of occupation. I think it's about time you retired. Alright, so it's person. it's slanted. I'm looking at it like this. I was trying to point at the hand because there's no knife in it, but I guess he's coming out of the room. What is strange about the photo? I think it's weird that the picture's slanted like that. Doesn't anyone think it's weird? Where's bro's arm? Is it missing?
Objection!
He's missing an arm. I can't be the only one who's thinking that, right? Either that or just find him. Why so many ultimatums? Give me a chance, bro. It's not here. What's that? That anything? Yeah, I don't even know what that is. What's strange about it? The floor. I'm so lost. I'm so bad at pointing out, like, photos and stuff. It's not anything to do with the person. So what's strange about the background? Well, it looks like he's facing opposite of Cordea's room. What's strange about it? I can't see anything, dude. This? Okay. I actually have no idea. It's a long episode. I would have never guessed this. I would have never guessed it. I would like to direct the court's attention to this one area right here. I would have never guessed it. What you pointed to is ankles? If you could see this person's ankles, that would be one thing. However, you can't. And what does that mean? The costumed person's photo could not have been Miss Rongard. What is the meaning of this? I wonder if you would care to elaborate with actual facts, that is. Let's take a good look at the Nickel Samurai poster. Please pay particular area to around the bottom of his akama. His socks. You can see his socks. Exactly. However, in this photo, Nickel Samurai is clearly holding his akama up just to walk. There's only one explanation for this. The person inside this costume is clearly much shorter than the defendant. Alright, I think I've turned things around for myself this time. That's curious. What is? Edward is unusually calm today. That's true. He's just letting the trial run itself as if he's only along for the ride. Along for the ride? What do you mean by that? I can only guess that perhaps he doesn't feel under attack at all. Doesn't feel under attack? Can I have a damages case at all? Mr. Edgeworth, where does this leave us? If the person in this photo is not Matt on guard, then everything the prosecution has tried to prove has become meaningless. I figured you'd come to this. What? Right. I have something I want to ask you. I think you have proven that this person inside the costume is not Matt. In that case, who is this a photo of? Well, I don't know. It's not my job. My job is to prove that he didn't do it. Who is the person? Oh, don't stress out over this, Phoenix. It's very simple. What you should be focused on is Edward's attitude, don't you think? Yeah, why are you so calm? Mr. Wright, what are your thoughts? Who is the person in this photograph? I don't have to prove that! Oh, whatever. Edgeworth himself. It's Miss Andrews. I mean, it has to be. Adrian Andrews? If you want to know who that Nickel Samurai is, none other than this woman. And why would you say that it must be Miss Andrews? One of the rule points you to her. For starters, she's short, and she can freely move around in and out of Mr. Rongard's room. Finally, she had dinner with Mr. Rongard that night. And how does that all add up? It means that it makes it very easy for her to get a certain item. A certain knife with Mr. Rongard's fingerprints all over it. A knife that was used as the murder weapon. Why don't you just say what it is you want, right? I have to do this now. It's my last chance to turn things around. The defense moves to indict Mrs. Adrian Andrews in the murder of Juan Corrida. It was Miss Andrews who tried to frame the defendant for the crime. I mean, it's not unreasonable. Order, order! It looks like this trial is in a most unexpected development, Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, Your Honor. This court is issuing a subpoena for Miss Adrian Andrews. A verdict cannot be passed without first hearing her testimony. Right, this is it. It's kind of bad for us. What do you mean? Adrian Andrews is summoned to court as a witness. That means the trial will go on for another day. One more day. If I don't get a verdict today, then my, Now then, we shall set Miss Andrews' testimony for tomorrow. What am I supposed to do? The court's about to adjourn the court. Oh, this is not going well. Now then. Please, Your Honor, continue the trial. You must pass a verdict today. I can't do that. We cannot hear Miss Andrews' testimony if she is not... I abhor wasting such valuable time. Edgeworth? Your Honor, I request that you please continue with today's trial. But we cannot continue due to this unexpected development. Unexpected development. I think you underestimate me, Your Honor. What do you mean by that? That Mr. Phoenix Wright would slave his way to... that Mr. Phoenix Wright would slave his way of subpoenaing Mrs. Adrian Andrews is all, happening according to plan, even if Wright is a bit slow to catch on. What? What? What is the meaning of your statement, Mr. Edgeworth? Miss Adrian Andrews is currently waiting in the prosecution's lobby. She is the next witness. Everything was planned out in advance by this man? Somehow I knew there was no way Edgeworth would overlook Miss Andrews. Looks like this battle is far from over. Exactly. Very well. We will call the next witness. However, before we proceed, we shall take a 10-minute recess. Please prepare your witness in that time, Mr. Edgeworth. The court will now take a 10-minute recess. Well, things are getting interesting. I do think it's Miss Andrews. I mean, who else could it be? Well, then again, this game has a funny way of, subverting your expectations. March 22nd, 2:14 p.m. District Court Defendant Lobby number 3. Dude, I know. That's alright. Thank you guys so much for joining Phoenix Wright Attorney. I'll see you all in the next one.